For a week, South Africa seemed to stare into the abyss.
I'm worried about the future of the country. I'm worried about the future of my kids.
The city of Durban at the heart of a frenzy.
There's more violence that came from this than just looting. There was an agenda to all of this.
The police caught off guard.
Well, if this isn't what government failure looks like, what is?
No, it doesn't mean that it's government failure.
People are willing to lay down their lives in defense of the ideals that President Jacob Zuma stands for.
So what next for a shell-shocked nation?
Well, today we're back, and certainly a lot has changed. It is calmer. A big clean-up operation underway. For me, the big question, though, is whether what happened here was just a week of mayhem and fury and anarchy, or whether it was something much more deliberate, much more orchestrated, and perhaps unfinished.
Today in Durban, gunfire has been replaced by the sound of shovels and brooms. And on a street where every single shop was looted, we found a young entrepreneur inspecting the ruins.
They took everything. They didn't even leave a mere hairdryer or a comb. Everything was taken in one day. There was a point in life where I thought, you know what, I'm going to make it big. You know, I'm going to be big. I'm going to be known all over. And then now all of this, like you're thinking now, okay, where to from here now?
This was the trigger for it all. Crowds gathering to protest against the imprisonment of this man, former President Jacob Zuma, found guilty of contempt of court. Zuma's supporters reacted with fury. Key roads blocked, and on Twitter, Zuma's own daughter accused of fanning the flames.
This is your last warning! Step out!
Within hours, a Durban businessman was filming this as the violence spread across the city and beyond.
It was one after the other. It was as if they were all on a WhatsApp group together and they knew exactly what was going to happen.
It seemed coordinated. Municipal and communication infrastructure deliberately set on fire, and Zuma's allies visible on the ground, apparently directing operations.
Definitely deliberate in the beginning.
Why do you say that?
Just because of the way it was orchestrated and how they went for specific malls or specific distribution sites. They knew exactly what they were doing. But there was a time where, I think it was by Tuesday or Wednesday, they realized that it was bigger than those leaders that instigated this. No one could control it.
It is extraordinary to consider that a faction within South Africa's governing ANC was unleashing anarchy.
It started as a mobilization around the former president, but it became something uncontrollable.
It became something uncontrollable, but it started, it was deliberately started.
It was deliberately started, orchestrated, but it then became uncontrollable and had element of criminality and element of undermining the state. Hence, we agree with the president on insurrection.
Do you agree that the ANC has a rotten part of it that is causing anarchy in this country?
Well, I would say there are challenges of unity in the ANC, but the ANC is dealing with those issues and it's able to discuss them internally. Anyone who was involved in instigating or planning or supporting disruption must be arrested and prosecuted.
How close did South Africa come to something unstoppable? In Durban, very close.
Okay, let's go!
The police were overwhelmed. Vigilante groups took over. In a city with a history of racial tensions, some communities turned on each other. Perhaps that was also part of the plan. In the suburb of Phoenix, Marvin Govender watched neighbours grabbing guns and blocking roads.
The type of military insurgency that was actually induced on the residents. You had people that were heavily armed that were attacking the communities. These weren't your normal criminals. These were highly trained guys that were trying to penetrate the barriers that the community set up and the areas to try and ensure that they get into these supermarkets and actually try and jeopardize our food security. It was a direct attack on the white community. It was a direct attack also on the Indian community that has also been progressive in this country.
So an attempt to stir up racial tension?
Correct.
As we're talking, a neighbour approaches to tell us her husband was killed when a car deliberately charged through a makeshift roadblock. Someone even filmed the moment.
So they were guarding the entrance of this area. There was lots of people guarding every area. There was a car that came from up the road and he drove in full speed, taking out 8 guys. 5 guys critically injured, which 4 passed away instantly. It was just something so ugly and so bad. So much of things and so much of lives destroyed in just a few days.
And for what?
And what did they gain? What did they benefit out of it? Nothing.
At some point, it's clear the anarchy developed its own momentum. But surely the authorities should have seen this coming.
We cannot say the government failed. We were surprised to see this kind of mobilization. Obviously, it was fueled by some of socio-economic challenges, such as high level of poverty and unemployment.
Still, if this isn't what government failure looks like, what is?
No, it doesn't mean that it's government failure.
Today, Zuma's supporters remain defiant, insisting that the violence here was a legitimate reaction to a deeply unequal society.
From where I come from, President Jacob Zuma is loved by his people. People are willing to lay down their lives in defense of the ideals that President Jacob Zuma stands for. Majority of the people who are black who went to malls and everywhere to loot, they were carrying no spears, they were carrying no guns. In fact, they are the ones who became victims of war, victims of people who were shooting them in the name of protecting private property.
But the sheer scale of the violence unleashed here could well provoke a backlash against Zuma and the lawlessness he's come to represent.
Amidst all this chaos, all this destruction, there is now a real opportunity lurking here, a chance for South Africa's authorities to confront, to destroy the political forces that sparked all this. Will that happen? I think in the short term, probably yes, but longer term, the economic challenges of poverty, of inequality here are so daunting that the chances of real progress are quite slim.
Can the ANC mend its ways and fix the nation? Many here doubt it.
I don't know where is this country going to, the way things are happening. I don't know about tomorrow. They started this thing now, what happens tomorrow?
But others see signs of hope in Durban's ruins.
They didn't destroy every building. They didn't destroy the communities. If anything, the communities got together and built unity from it.
South Africa's fate lies in the hands of a governing party at war with itself.